Imagine floating thousands of kilometers above a planet where the surface is hot enough to melt lead. The pressure could crush a submarine, and the rain is made of sulfuric acid. This is Venus, the most hostile planet in our solar system. But what if, instead of landing on the surface, you tried to survive in the clouds of Venus? Would it actually be possible? Let's find out. First, let's talk about the surface. Venus is often called Earth's evil twin because it's almost the same size as Earth. But the similarities end there. The surface temperature on Venus reaches about 470 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt lead. And the pressure? It's about 90 times stronger than Earth's atmosphere. That's like being 900 meters underwater in the ocean. Any human or spacecraft would be instantly crushed and cooked. That's why every lander sent to Venus has only survived a few minutes before dying. So clearly, the surface is not an option, but the clouds. That's where things get interesting. About 50 kilometers above Venus's surface, something strange happens. The temperature drops dramatically. Instead of 470 degrees Celsius, it becomes around 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. That's basically room temperature on Earth. And the pressure? Almost the same as Earth's atmosphere. In other words, at this altitude, Venus is actually one of the most Earth-like places in the solar system. But the clouds of Venus are not made of water. They are made of sulfuric acid. Yes, acid. If you stepped outside without protection, the acid would burn through most materials. Even metals slowly corrode in this environment. And the winds? They reach speeds of over 300 kilometers per hour, meaning anything floating there would be constantly pushed around the planet. But surprisingly, scientists think we could still survive there, just not the way you might think. Even in the clouds, Venus is still dangerous. The acid could slowly damage the habitat. The winds could push the city around the planet every few days. And if something went wrong, you couldn't just land on the surface, because below you is literally a hell-like world. Any falling object would eventually reach the ground and be destroyed by heat and pressure. So survival would depend on perfect technology. One mistake, and there would be no escape. But despite all the dangers, Venus might actually be one of the best places for humans to live outside Earth, not on the surface, but floating in its clouds. Some scientists even believe we could build these cities within the next century. So one day, humans might look up at the night sky and know that somewhere in those bright clouds, entire cities are floating above Venus. But the real question is, would you dare live there?